Hello there and a warm welcome along to today's United Kingdom talk. And today, for a change, something I've wanted to do for a very long time with the show is come down by the seaside, and that's where today's show comes from. Hove, actually, which is just down the road from Brighton. If you listen carefully, you'll see you'll hear the waves. Oh dear, that's the mobile phone going up as soon as we finish. Yes, if you, how annoying is that? Has it stopped? Just we can't be taking phone calls while we're down here. Listen. There you go. Right by the seaside in Hove. As I say, Hove is just down the road from Brighton. It's a lot quieter than Brighton, and that's why I came down. I don't feel confident enough to kind of set up a camera and recording equipment while surrounded by loads of people. That's just a little bit mad, isn't it, really? Because they would gawp, wouldn't they? They'd stand there and gawp. And, you know, I mean, I can't be out there signing autographs and everything like that all the time while I'm trying to do my show here. And it's really nice. It's a very, very pleasantly warm day in September. I'm just about, let me have a look, I'm about 10 foot away from where the sea joins the shore, and it's kind of just lapping over the stones there. I'm kind of taking a bit of a gamble, really, because I'm hoping that the sea is actually going out rather than coming in, because if it comes in, we'll have to move over to the other end. Those of you, of course, who have internet access can watch as well as listen to the show. Just go to the usual place, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, and look for the show dated the 19th of September 2009. Okay, that's the show on the internet. All right, it may be a different date when you're listening or watching this, but if you go to unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, look for the show dated the 19th, the Saturday the 19th of September 2009. You'll be able to see the sea and the stony beach, and indeed, I don't know if you can see it, actually, just behind me is Brighton Pier, which is a good few miles down the road. So very, very pleasant indeed. Very nice. I remember, do you know, I think this is the first time this year I've come to the seaside, and we've finished the summer now. I remember as a child, many times, Dad and Mum, we used to jump in the car on perhaps a Sunday, or even, you know, for our holidays or whatever, we'd jump in the car and come down to the seaside for the day. Where was it we used to go? A place called Brocklesham Bay, which I've mentioned a few times on this show. It was a reasonably quiet place. It never became commercialised. You haven't got these great big halls full of machines and money things. It was just basically a fairly stony beach. The sea was quite rough there as well. It was all very, very nice, and I do miss those times. Brocklesham Bay in Sussex, which actually is on the same road I'm on now. It takes up a lot further down, quite a few miles down the road. So that's where I am today. Now, I did promise you another email catch-up show, and that's indeed what we're going to do. I'll give you the text number again. If you want to text into the show, maybe you're sitting there in a car, in a traffic jam, or you've pulled over just to listen to my little words of wisdom. Do you know, I think that sea is coming in. It's all very worrying. Don't worry. If you want to text the show, then if you're in the UK, your text number is 07815 907 896. All right, once again, 07815 907 896. Or if you're outside the UK, then dial your international access code, which may be 00, it might be something else, okay? Dial your international access code, followed by 44 for the UK, 7815 907 896. Your international access code, followed by 44 for the UK, 7815 907 896. And don't forget to put where you are in the world, your town and perhaps city. Otherwise, I don't know. You only appear as a number on my little screen. All right, so that's the phone number. Of course, the other way to contact the show is by email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. We're still asking people to send in pictures and perhaps little films of themselves and where they live, because when we're in the studio doing the shows, we now have a big screen behind us as well, and I like to sort of run a little film going on behind there for those of you that watch the show. If you want to send in your pictures or sort of mini films, nothing more than sort of, I don't know, 30 seconds, a minute long, usual email address chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. There's a postal address as well, if I remember. I shall give that out shortly as well, okay? Now, we do have a lot of cat lovers, including myself, cat owners and cat lovers who listen and indeed watch the show. And there's this marvellous programme on the television at the moment, on the ITV here in the UK. I think it's on Sunday nights, around about 7 or 8 o'clock. I might have that wrong. With Joanna Lumley, and it's called Joanna Lumley Catwoman. And she investigates and finds out about how we are with cats and why on earth we ever decided that they would live with us, and indeed why the cats themselves ever chose that, yes, actually, humans are great companions. Now, I didn't know this, but cats are now the most what's the word? Proliferant, is it? Proliferant pets in people's homes, much more so than dogs. And isn't it strange? What is it about cats that we love so much? Because let's face it, they don't do as they're told, do they? Mind you, neither do I, dear. I mean, once you start doing me, doing me? Well, you can do me as well if you want to, I don't mind. Once you start telling me what to do, I'm kind of off. Even when it comes to work. I can work within a sort of framework of... can you hear that music? He gets a phone again. I can't answer that now. I haven't got time to answer that now while I'm chatting to you. Yeah, I can work within a framework. Well, once you start telling me what to do or say, then I'm off. Yeah, I can't be... So I'm a bit like a cat. Maybe that's why I get on so well with cats. Do you think? There's been very few cats that I haven't got on with. There's only one, and she seems to have started talking to me as well, and that is Peaches. That is one of my sister's cats. Peaches the cat. And she used to hate me. But for some reason, we kind of get on now. So that's good news as well, isn't it? But cats generally do not allow you to tell them what to do. If they're out in the garden somewhere and you call it, you know, like I call my cat, Katie, Katie, then if she doesn't want to come, she'll just sit there. She won't just sit there, she will completely ignore you. She could be sitting there curled up in a spot on the garden when it's warm. Katie, and they don't even look up, do they? They completely and totally ignore you. One of the disappointed things, of course, I've recently been to my sister's house, and I was away for 3 days. When you get back, the cat doesn't go mad, does it? They might come up to you, she might come up to me and sort of, you get the impression that she says, oh, you've decided to come back then. What do you want me to do? Rush up here? Oh, I tell you what, that sea's getting a bit closer. We'll see how we go, all right? The waves are definitely getting bigger. Isn't it a lovely sound though, don't you think? The sea and the waves. Oh, I love it. I better get ready to suddenly move quickly if the need arrives. So, I mean, that's it really. That's my thing with cats. What about you? Do you love your cats? And this programme on ITV is just brilliant. And it seems that the Japanese actually revere them. They are very, very popular in Japan. Indeed, I'm going to put something on top of my phone so I can't hear it ringing all the time, because that's starting to get on my nerves, that is. Just a minute. I'll wrap that up in there. I've actually got my mobile phone set on timer today because I haven't bought my clock that I usually time doing the show with. So I've set the alarm to go off on the phone at around in exactly sort of 57 minutes time. Also in Japan, they dress cats up. Yeah, honestly, and they have little cat clothes, and they have shops that specifically sell clothes for cats. And you can dress them up in all sorts of apparel. Little hats. You can dress up a cat as a mouse, like with ears, or a cat as a frog. And many, many different things like that. And I was just totally amazed by how the Japanese revere cats. They even had, like, almost it seemed like to me, a kind of cat religion. And they had, I think it was a monk, and this place where they had lots of little models of cats in there. And apparently if you took one of these models home and it brought you, it's supposed to bring you good luck and all that sort of thing. So fantastic that, how the way they're kind of worshipped in Japan. Do you know of this? Are you perhaps one of those cat worshippers? Or maybe you think it's taking it a little over the top. Are cats just little beings like us? They don't really have any magical powers or anything like that, do they? Or do they? You know? I mean, can they see things that we don't see? I've heard many stories of, I don't know if you believe in ghosts and things like that. I do. I believe in spirits. And it's been said before that cats can often see these spirits. Have you ever been at home with your cat and suddenly it jumps up and runs off for no reason, or stares into space? Is it staring into space? Or can it actually see something? Thoughts on that, please, on the email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Postal address coming up, after I tell you about a new gadget I saw on the television the other day, and it is a music tooth cleaner. And listen carefully to what I said there. A music tooth cleaner. This is not a toothbrush. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It's a bit like, you know those tooth protectors that rugby players and football people put in their mouths? Right? It's like that, and you put it in your mouth and you attach it to your iPod or MP3 player. And then you switch on the MP3 player, and apparently this thing produces, and you also have your earplugs in as well so you can hear the music, and this thing produces vibrations that actually clean your teeth while you're listening to music. And it is the weirdest thing I honestly don't see them selling many of those. Do you? I mean, if you ask me, you can't beat a toothbrush and a toothpick, or the old floss stuff. Very important to floss your mouths. Don't know if you've seen that gadget before. Not recommending that one, I'm afraid. Even before I've tried it. Just looks like one of those things that you have in your house so that people come up and say, "Hey, what's that?" Don't they? Right, the postal address, if you want to put pen to paper anytime, it'd be lovely to hear from you by post. Here comes the postal address. It is Chris Reardon, United Kingdom Talk, P.O. Box 4073, Bracknell, Bracknell, RG429ED. Once again, it's Chris Reardon, United Kingdom Talk, P.O. Box 4073, Bracknell, Bracknell, RG429ED, United Kingdom. Okay? Right, I'm squinting away here, dear, because I haven't brought my, I don't think I brought my sunglasses out with me. I've left them in the car, and it is rather overcast, but the sun is kind of coming through the clouds there, and it's making me squint a little bit. Oh my God, nearly attacked. You might see some seagulls and things flying around behind me as well on the show today. All right? Okay, I promise you another email catch-up programme because we're falling behind with these. So here we go. First of all, over to Spain and Maureen, who is in Torrevieja. And she's written that today in brackets how it should be said. So I hope I've said that all right. Torrevieja. All right. And Maureen says, Dear Chris, I haven't been able to watch your shows recently, but I did see the show dated the Saturday, the 29th of August. We haven't got to October yet. Shut up, Chris. Get it right first time, please. I haven't been able to watch your shows recently, but I did see the show dated Saturday, the 29th of August, 2009, and I loved the setting you chose for it. A shame that your face was in shadow. Well, others would say otherwise, Maureen. Some people would say it was probably best to have my face in the shadows, okay? Or there's people coming down the stones. I wonder if they're going to come over and gawp. Do you think they are? I bet they are. They're going to come over and look now. Or walk past us, probably, just because I think they're going to be on the telly, on ITV or something like that. Look behind me. I'm sure are they going to... Can you hear them walking down? What a cheek. You know, you'd think they'd move along a bit, wouldn't you, really? She says, your show was an excellent example of the English countryside at its best. It's actually, yes, I know the show you mean. That was the one we did from South Hill Park, wasn't it, in Bracknell? It's only 5 minutes walk from my house, that place. Lovely. I noticed that the video prior to it was also one of your outside broadcasts. So we'll try and watch that soon too. Yes, we've gone mad with the outside book. Here we are today in Hove, by the sea, on the beach. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. There's a lot to be said for living by the sea, you know. I mean, it really is beautiful out here today. It's a bit overcast, but so what, you know. At least it's not raining. Can't complain. Maureen says, I just wanted to let you know how much we appreciate all the effort that you've gone into changing the location. Yeah, thanks a lot. And I appreciate you saying that, Maureen. It does actually take a lot of effort to bring the camera and all the other bits and pieces and the sound recording equipment out outside. I'm also fully aware that more people listen to the show than watch it. And I do try and explain things so that you can kind of picture in your own mind. I mean, like I said at the beginning of the show, the sea is actually to the left of me. Behind me, you can see the sea, and right in the background, Brighton Pier. And to the right of me are all the stones, and indeed that's where I'm sitting on the... It's a rather stony beach. There's no sand here, really. And then just over to the right of me, we have those, what we call beach huts. Now, if you're not in the UK, you may not know what a beach hut is. These are little... They're almost like sheds. And families own them. There aren't many of them, and it's actually very difficult to buy one now because I don't think they build them anymore. They're little beach huts, and you can purchase one of these so that when you come down the beach, you've got this little sort of structure that you can sit in if it rains, or maybe take yourself a portable kettle down or something like that and make your tea, which is all very pleasant. I don't have one myself. That is not on my property list, I'm afraid, Maureen. I'm afraid I do not own a beach hut. Some of them, in some areas, they are really expensive. It's a case of, you know, not having enough of them. So if someone really wants to buy your beach hut, you can charge whatever you want if they pay the money. Maureen says, I also just wanted to tell you that I've resolved the problem of the elves. Of course, we've finished our elf story now. The Elves of Ireland. I hope you enjoyed that on the last 9 shows. I now appreciate, she says, how ignorant I was in thinking that elves should be treated as servants. How wrong I was. And I felt that this almost became an international incident. I think you're right, Maureen. Terrible, dear. But that's okay, because you've learnt your lesson. Elves are not slaves or servants. They're not. She says, however, all is now resolved. We have a natural park almost next door. And at the weekends, we went hunting with large nets. Oh my God, I can't begin to think where this email's going. After several hours of hunting, we managed to catch around 6 gnomes that were hiding behind rocks. 6 gnomes is a good catch because gnomes are almost extinct in this part of the world. We don't think they are as nice as elves because gnomes have long noses and they tend to get into everything. Well, I don't know about that. However, we know it's wrong to use elves. Maureen, you're getting even hotter water than you were last time. Now, number one, we don't think gnomes have long noses. You're saying they're not as nice as elves. Well, I think there you could possibly be creating a racial incident there, my darling. You can't say that because gnomes have long noses, they're not as nice as elves. That's just cruel. That is a racial incident, my dear. You will have the Commission for Racial Equalities down on you like a ton of bricks if you were here in the UK. You can't do that. Pointing out people's faults like that, dear. That is shocking, Maureen. It really is. Also, you can't go round hunting little things like that. Gnomes are not there to be hunted. I don't know, because I'm not an expert, I don't know the relationship between gnomes and elves. If there is any at all, we will have to refer to Robert, our elf expert about that. But I'm pretty sure you shouldn't be out there hunting gnomes or elves. It's wrong, dear. It's so wrong. These are little people. You have created a racial incident there. I would be expecting some sort of reply from someone there. If you've got any comments on Maureen's thoughts here, then I think you need to write in and let them know. Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Get your quotes in now. Oh my God, it gets worse. She goes on to say, anyway, what I wanted to tell you is that we have now taught the gnomes how to clean the pool. They also make a good job of cleaning the poolside furniture and sweep and disinfect the patio tiles while we are in bed for our siesta, which we need as it's the hottest part of the day. Yeah, but you're using them as slaves, aren't you? You've caught them in nets and are using them as slaves. It's a different thing to sort of perhaps going up to a gnome in the street and saying, I'd like you to come and do a job for me. I will pay you, however. Or you can't do this, dear. You can't. She says, the female gnomes have become very apt at ironing and housework and love bringing us cups of tea in the bed in the morning. Are you sure they love bringing you cups of tea in bed? Or do they feel that if you don't, you will shoot them or something like that? We showed them your video on tea making, and after a lot of grumbling, we made them make a decent cup of tea for us and made them serve it properly in proper bone china cups and saucers. These gnomes are a little bit thick, you know. Stop it. Stop talking about gnomes like that. But we know that to use elves would be wrong. Yeah, but gnomes as well, dear. You can't do this. Gnomes, she says, are rebellious creatures. It's obvious to us that they don't like being chained up all day in the sun, even though they have access to drinking water and biscuits. We have explained that they are getting plenty of vitamin C this way, but they don't take any notice. We have had to resort to making them wear electric dog collars which become active when they make a noise. We do this because it's insensitive to subject our neighbours to the noise they make, and besides, we also find the noise irksome. Yeah, but what about the gnomes? You're giving them electric shocks. This is wrong, Maureen. Why can't you see that this is wrong, eh? It's wrong for you to be doing this to gnomes. Oh, I can see problems here, I really can. I'm just going to get a stone and try and throw it in the sling. I used to be able to get stones and throw them in the sea and make them skim across the top. They've got to be flat stones, and I can't find one. They look all a little bit too heavy and fat, just like me. Look at this one. Big stone. Let me just chuck it in. No, it didn't bounce. Surprise, surprise. Neither would I. Oh, here's a flat one, won't it? Oh yeah, that's skimmed twice. See, I can still do the things I did when I was younger. Maureen goes on to say, I just wanted to write and share with you our amazing discovery that you can have household servants for little or no money. Oh no, I'm laughing. No, it's not funny. It's not funny. I feel sure that your listeners and viewers will be excited, and my husband and I, oh, she sounds like the Queen now, doesn't she? Oh, my husband and I know that we are trendsetters. Many more people will be rescuing gnomes from the wild and civilizing them. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. That must be a good thing, surely. However, we must warn you all that you need plenty of patience with these creatures, and they need to be taught to behave in a civilized manner and be taught that we human beings are always right. And, of course, this also applies to the rest of the animal kingdom. They were all put on this planet for us to wear, eat, hunt and use, and we all know that, don't we? Best regards, Maureen, in Torrevieja, in sunny Spain. Well, I mean, if you're a gnome or an elf, or indeed any creature, then you know to avoid the area Torrevieja in sunny Spain. Because Maureen and her clan will probably hunt you down and make you slaves. I think it's shocking. Where does she get these opinions from? All these things were put on this planet for us to wear, eat, hunt, and it's terrible, isn't it? Maureen, I don't know. I really don't know if there's, you know, we had the elves forgiving you, but I'm pretty sure that elves and gnomes are kind of the same people. Are like, for example, how can I explain? Oh yes, like for example, here in the UK, whether you're yellow, brown, black, white, doesn't matter. You are still British. And I have a feeling gnomes, elms, goblins, there's some more. I think they're all in the same thing, aren't they? I don't know what is the kind of general word for such creatures. If you know, then let us know on the email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. A couple of Facebook messages from Doug in Akeley in the USA, who says on the subject, remember the large spider that was on the wall in my bedroom? He says, yeah, that spider was watching you with all of its 8 eyes. Have all spiders got 8 eyes? I didn't know that. That's even more scary than I first thought. And do you know what, Doug? Since the large spider on the wall, there have been 2 other incidents in my living room this time of large spiders, large spiders running across the living room carpet. On both occasions, I have got a cup and carefully caught them and placed them outside. I will not kill spiders. But nevertheless, that's 3 large spiders I've found in my house recently. There must be a nest. There must be a nest somewhere. And I find it all very worrying. Doug says, I had to deal with a wolf spider the other day. Got the can of Raid out. Ugly little things they are. Oh no, you mustn't. Are they dangerous? Do wolf spiders, are they dangerous? Are they poisonous? Do they bite you or anything like that? You'll have to tell me more information there, please, Doug. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk for that. Oh, I can see some people behind me. Are they watching or are they looking at the sea? I can see it on my little video monitor in front of me. I wonder what they're doing. They can't hear me because I'm talking quietly. I know you can. There's some people behind me. Oh, are they coming towards me? They've got to come towards and have a look, haven't they? Because you know what people are like, just nosy, dear. Nosy. Oh no, they're going the other way, I think. Yep, they're going up the road. Now, Suko in New York. We often talk about baked beans on this programme. One of my favourite dinners. Indeed, I was listening to Ross Patzelt the other day. rosspatzelt.co.uk is where you can find his podcast. Colourful language on there, be warned. And he was saying on one of his previous shows that it doesn't have to be Heinz baked beans that you eat. Well, I beg to differ. I think it does. What was the other thing? Oh, has anyone heard Ross's show recently and his new jingles? They've got to be the worst jingles I've ever heard. He does this thing called What's in the Bag. And the jingle goes, what's in the bag, 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 with Ross, Ross, Pat's out, Ross, Ross, Pat's out, Ross, Pat's out, what's in the bag with Ross, Pat's out. And it's him singing it. And it's dreadful. And this jingle goes on for about 3 minutes. It goes on and on and on. And another one, he does I Spy with Ross, Pat's out. I spy with Ross, Pat's out, I spy with Ross, Pat's out. Now, I know I might not have the tune right there, or indeed the words, but you get the general idea. And it's the strangest thing ever. And he plays I Spy in his bedroom. I mean, I could do that now, couldn't I? Let's play it now quickly, OK? I spy with Chris Reardon, I spy with Chris Reardon. All right, ready? Here we go then. I spy with my little eye something beginning with S. Any idea? Go on, have a guess. Something beginning with S. Do you want a clue? Okay. It's making a noise at the moment, if you listen. That's right, C. C. Or you could have had seaside, I would have accepted that. Not stones, wasn't stones, because I wasn't doing that. You can hear stones now, can't you? I wasn't doing that. No, it was S for C. Very, very strange. Ross was also talking, he was talking to, I think Tom as well, from Tom Harris USA, the podcast, tomharrisusa.com. And they were talking about baked beans, and Tom, I think, thinks everyone in the UK has baked beans every morning for breakfast. And that's not true, Tom. Now and again, you can have baked beans for any meal at all. You can have it breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever. And Suko's wrote here on the subject of bush baked beans. Dear Chris, I wrote to Bush Baked Beans to see if there was any place you could get bush beans in London. Unfortunately, they're not available. But, oh, I've just attacked by a fly then. Did you see that? Oh my God. I don't know what that was. An insect just landed on my face. Perhaps it was what was it again? Not an elf. What were we talking about earlier? Oh, hang on a minute. We read me a bit of paper. I can't remember. What was the creatures we were talking about? Not elves. Oh, I've lost it now. Where's my bit of paper gone? Is that it? Hasn't floated in the sea, is it, or anything? One minute. Gnomes, that's it. We're talking about, perhaps it was a gnome disguised as a fly then, and it landed on my face to give me a little kiss for sticking up for gnomes, do you reckon? Anyway, back to this. Because I was looking to try and get some bush baked beans here in the UK, because they're very delicious. They do different flavours. Very, very nice indeed. Apparently they're not available, but who knows, maybe my letter will spark something, she says, Suko. I mentioned my friend in London, who made me shelp 7 heavy cans of beans all over the UK, who has, alas, finished them and is desperate for more. That'd be me. Lots of love from Suko. Yes, it's true. I did enjoy them very much, Suko, but alas, I have run out of bush baked beans, so it's back to the boring old Heinz baked beans, I'm afraid, which are still okay. You know, Heinz beans are all right, but they're not as nice as the bush ones. Let me just check my time. Right, okay. Good. Now, had an unpleasant comment posted on the YouTube, which I have, of course, removed. A lot of swear words in this, dear. I will, of course, as always, keep to my usual thoughts that this is a family programme. I shall not mention the swear words, but you can work them out by what I'm going to say. And the comment starts off in capital letters, what a load of effing SH. And it says, United Kingdom talks BS more like. Who in their effing right mind would give 2 SHs about your new fishing stall, which actually I'm sitting on at the moment. my new stool I'm sitting on at the moment, and as I'm sitting here on the stones, it's actually sinking into the ground. So I'm going to have to get up and reposition myself, I think. Just a minute now. It's actually sank right into the stones here. So let's pull that up a bit again. I've been gradually sinking as we're doing the show. There we are, that's better. I'm sitting back upright now. Who gives 2 SHs about your new fishing stool? I can see you are by a lake. Please throw it in, as that would be of far higher comedy value. Please stop making SH videos. You are the worst presenter next to David Johnson. You see you. And that's it. Apparently I'm the worst presenter next to David Johnson. Now the question is, who on earth is David Johnson? I don't know him. So do get back to me and let me know. And if you could write in proper English rather than using swear words all the time, that would be much appreciated to you as well. Who is this? The user is... The YouTube username, if you want to comment back to him, if you want to, on my behalf, because you know I never reply to this sort of thing. I'm above that, okay? I'm better than him, really am. But if you want to reply on my behalf, his username on YouTube is Flash Radio UK. Flash Radio UK. I always think, if you really, really dislike something, to just switch off. Why make a comment? Clearly that man has kindly gone to a lot of trouble to sit there and spend some time out of his sad little life to write that. And I do appreciate that. Any comments are appreciated. But certainly if I've not liked something on the telly or the computer, I just turn it off. Don't need to pass comment, do you? If I was a young lad or young girl just starting out and I'd got a comment like that, I could possibly be hurt by that. But I'm afraid I'm a very thick-skinned liar, and that sort of thing doesn't bother me at all. Interestingly enough, there was another comment straight... Oh, dear me. Why does that phone keep going off like that? Just a minute. It's actually someone trying to ring me, but I'm not going to take the call while I'm chatting away to you. 1 minute. Where's the other one? We had another one here somewhere. Oh, there it is. There it is. We had another comment. Someone who watches the show via Current TV. Okay. His username on there is FrizzleCat, which is it's a nice little name. That is FrizzleCat, and he writes, "I'm afraid. Well, I'm assuming it's a he. I'm afraid 24 minutes and 50 seconds is as much as this as I can handle. It's far too strange. Sunflowers, tomato blight, scared of spiders, buffet, 2 bags of crisps, deer, pink lilies. What on earth is this?" And he says, "I just hope internationals don't seriously think this show represents Britain. This is just so strange. I really don't know what to make of it. Some bits made me laugh, but mainly because this whole show is utterly eccentric. I'm baffled." And that comes from FrizzleCat. Well, you've answered you've answered your questions there in one word. Eccentric. That's exactly what I am. Some people get it, some people don't. If you don't, then I'm sorry, you're losing out. This is not a nasty email at all. Certainly in compared to the other one. You see what I mean? There's a difference. This guy's making some comments which are fair. He doesn't get it. Why should I be sitting here talking about tomato blight, scared of spiders, buffet? Because that is what people do, isn't it? People do get tomato blight. They are scared of spiders. People do use buffets. They do eat 2 bags of crisps. And believe it or not, FrizzleCat, people do call people dear. Not everyone calls people dear, but some people, including me, refer to people as dear. Hello dear, how are you? Not everyone, but eccentric is the word. You've got that bit right. If you don't get it, move on. Move on to something else that you do get. But some of us do get it. I do. Thank you for that, Frizzle Cat. Actually, I have a feeling, Frizzle Cat, if we ever met somewhere, we'd get on very well. We would actually get on very well, you and I. And also on current TV, someone wrote this message. Quickly, someone contact Children's BBC. One of their hyperactive children's presenters has escaped. What, is that, as in me, is that? Hyperactive children's presenter, I don't know about that. Don't know if I could present children's television. Do you think I could do that? I don't suppose the parents would like me calling the children dears, would they, or lovey? All right, lovey. Thank you. Hello to Niall in Switzerland, who writes, "Hi Chris, after running out of your podcasts, I thought I'd give James Dean's a try." James Dean also hosts a podcast show called The Matinee. You can find that at matineeshow.co.uk, matineeshow.co.uk. It involves himself and Madam Aries and someone else called Sebastian talking about musical theatre and playing musical tunes from shows. He says, first of all, shocked by the size of the download. How comes 2 hours is 10 times the size of your hour of fun? I don't know. I don't think James Dean bothers too much about that side of it, which is shocking, really. He doesn't care for his listeners and viewers as much as I do. That's all I can say, lovey. Niall says, the sound quality of James's show is quite duff as well. It reminds me of a crackly medium wave programme at night that was hissy and waved in and out. Yeah, to be fair, I've told him that as well. I don't know what's going on there. If that was me doing that show, I'd make sure the recording came out properly. You know, it would only have to be I'd only have to notice that once and I'd do something about it. I don't know why he hasn't. You're going to have to ask him. Niall goes on to say, I'd recommend giving Paul James a helping hand on production to avoid these two problems. I'll wait until the end for any further judgment. It was fun hearing your double-header with James, so I have high hopes for his show as well. Dear James, I apologise for any offence. All is meant constructively. Regards from Niall. And at the end there's something in French which I can't understand. So thank you for that one, Niall. Your remarks, I know, will be listened to by the said James Dean, and he may or may not act upon your comments, all right? Hello to Keith. Keith sends a message via the Facebook, and I quite like this one. I've just listened to your show. You are very funny. May I add, a handsome bloke. Well, I like to think so as well. I mean, I spend hours looking at myself in the mirror. Not Keith. He says, you have me hooked like crack cocaine. Oh, you're not doing that stuff, are you, dear? Oh, please don't start doing drugs while you're listening to this show. Although some people, including that one who wrote the letter, what's that bloke's name on YouTube? Hang on a minute, where is it now? What was that bloke's name on YouTube? I can't even remember now. Oh, there it is. Flash Radio UK, who wrote that nasty email. Flash Radio UK, he, I have a feeling he would need to take drugs to watch or listen to this show. But there you go. You know, it's just one of those things. Some people need these things. Some people don't. And I hope, Keith, that you're not going to take up crack cocaine to listen to this show, dear. He says, I will be listening to you all the time. So thanks for that, Keith. Whereabouts are you, Keith? You don't say in your little message there. Do let us know. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk is my email address. Another little email here from Suko in New York, who says, on the subject of the new studio, which you've seen in the last... a couple of shows back now. We haven't been in the studio for the last couple of shows, have we? She says, saw the new studio for the first time today. Looks nice, especially with James in it. Well, I mean, there's hardly any room, is there, once he's sat down on that settee, dear? God's sake. My only criticism is that you should have coordinated shirts. The clash was hard on the eyes. When he comes into my house in this pink blooming T-shirt, bright pink it was, wasn't it awful? Wasn't it just awful? You know, not only that, did I mention the fake tan he had on? Or this stuff that he paints on his teeth to look white? Never seen anything like it, dear. The fake tan is just dire. I mean, he looks orange, doesn't he? He looked orange with that fake tan. Girls and boys, don't use that fake tan stuff. It just looks dreadful. Who's that bloke? There's a lot of people on the telly using it. Dow Winton. And there's another bloke who does an antique show on ITV. He has it as well, and they just look totally orange. And a woman who does a holiday programme. Oh, she's got blonde hair. I can't remember. Not Gloria Hunniford. What's her name? I can't remember. And they all wear this awful, awful fake tan, which makes them look as orange as anything. It's just awful. She also goes to say, did you notice James smiled a lot more? Yeah, that's because he'd put this white stuff on his teeth and he wanted it to be noticed. Well, I noticed it all right. Please stop doing false things to yourselves like that, boys and girls. It really is awful, awful, awful and hideous. David, hello, David writes, could you possibly do a Simon Darby show? I'm not sure who that is, David, Simon Darby, so what do you mean do a Simon Darby show? Do you mean do a show in the same way as this person does his shows? Or do you mean interview him? I'm not quite sure what you mean. More information there, please. Thank you very much, okay? Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, there were some other bits and pieces I wanted to talk to you about today, as well as doing the emails. Although I suppose we should stick with the emails, actually, because they've been waiting a little bit long, really. Okay, so we'll carry on with these. Hello to Louise. It's Louise. How are you, my darling? Hope you're well and everything's going okay. Listening to your Thursday the 4th show about the tomatoes. Thursday, I don't think it was Thursday, doesn't matter. The show about the tomatoes. Yeah, I was talking about a problem I've had with tomato blight. I've spent, a few months growing great big tomatoes, and some of them were really big, only to have them ruined, unfortunately, by tomato blight. Over 3/4 of them I had to chuck away. Louis says, last year I had exactly the same problem. A neighbour gave me lots of tomato plants, so I planted them, put some canes in for them to grow up. They just stayed green. They had the same brown bits on as yours. I thought they would be easy to grow. Even the plants themselves stayed small. Worst was the neighbour who gave them to me could see them all over the fence. I felt that I hadn't looked after them. The blight was caused by too much damp. I know that now, and I also know I used a sprinkler most nights in the summer to actually water them for about an hour. And my feeling is that is what caused my blight problem. Okay, so I'm wondering, did your tomatoes not get damp all the time? I think that's probably what happened. The fact that they didn't grow very high, well, I don't know. I mean, where did you plant them? Did you plant them in the shade? Because tomato plants need to go in the sun. Also, you need to give them a bit of food, or if the soil is very poor, they won't grow very tall. Okay? Louise says, usually, she gives me some salad plants and the odd flower plants in the spring, but this year she didn't. Wonder if it was to do with the tomatoes looking so bad. Yeah, possibly, I don't know. I think you need to ask her. You should have asked her, why didn't your tomatoes grow very big? I'm sure she'd help you. Okay? She says, so this year, my vegetable patch was home to just potatoes. I found them the easiest to grow. Just throw them in the ground, and when you come to scrape the skins off, they come off really easily. Now, I've never done tomatoes, Louise. Are they very easy to grow? And you say you got a vegetable patch. Is it part of the garden, or have you made it rise up by putting some boards around it? I'd be interested to know that, Louise. Please let me know. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Louise says, in my summer school holidays, we can remember going out calling for friends, and we go into the farmer's field behind and make dens. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, in the school holidays, I used to go out with my friend Peter on our push bikes. We were about 12, 13, 14 years old, I think. And we go to a place, we both lived in Roehampton, and we go to a place called Powell Park. And there'd be like, it's a funny noise behind me, I don't know what it is. We'd go to this place in Powell Park, and there'd be like a woods area there, and we'd build like a camp. And we'd like put stones around it and that thing, thinking, oh no, I'll tell you what we used to do. We used to put string at like kind of floor level, so that if anyone tried to enter our camp, they'd trip over the string. Of course, it never happened like that though. I've got some, there's some very large seagulls over there eyeing me up. I hope they're not going to eat me. Large seagulls, 3 of them. Great big things they are. Fat things. How do they get so fat, seagulls? Perhaps I was a seagull in my last life. Is that why I'm putting on the weight now? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, she used to go to the farmer's field and make dens. My sister and me would find a lot of things to do, like ride our bikes. But my son reminds me of the shower changing cubicle boys you could hear when you were in the showers the other day. Yeah, if you missed that show, I was in the cubicles in the swimming pool. There are 3 cubicles that you can go and close the door, and you're in there on your own. And while I was in there, I could hear little boys talking. This is a few weeks ago when the kids were on holiday, when the children were in, I hate that word, kids, when the children were in holiday. On holiday from school, and I was in the cubicle, and you could hear all the little boys outside, and they were talking, and all they were they all sounded so bored, and they kept asking, what can I do now, what can I do next, what can we do tomorrow, and they just seemed bored all the time. And Louise says, my son reminds me of the shower changing cubicle boys. I get a, what can I do now, I'm bored, or you take them out for a day, and within half an hour he says, my legs are tired, I want to go home. Oh dear, I know exactly what you mean. Well, I better go now, or it will be soon time to collect him from school. Take care, and that's from Louise. Thank you, Louise. Love to hear from you. Now, as I'm sitting here, I'm starting to get a little bit of rain coming down, and the sky is going dark. How long have we got? I think I've got about 5 minutes left. Let me just check this. 24, hang on a minute, 1 minute. Oh, I've got 4 minutes left. Shall we carry on the last 4 minutes and hope for the best? I think it's going to pour down with rain in a minute. We'll carry on for the last, it's got very dark. I'll carry on for the last 4 minutes and hope for the best then, okay? Hi to Lisa in California. How are you, Lisa? Oh, it's coming down heavier now. You might get a drip or 2 on the camera. Keep your fingers crossed. We'll carry on like mothers, brave little soldiers that we are. Lisa writes, on the subject of, let me see. Oh, sorry, no, that's something else. That's something completely different, Lisa, isn't it? Sorry, that's not for the show. That was a private email. That was there. Let's see. Tom Harris, I've got an email from you. Oh, Carl wrote to us while just before we went off holiday and says, no shows for a week. What are we going to do? Exactly, Carl. What did you do instead of listening to United Kingdom Talk when we had the week's holiday when I was up with my sisters? Come on, let me know. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Doug. Again, Doug, once again in Akeley, USA, had problem downloading the shows. I don't know why. He said, you looked real nice in one of the shirts that you were wearing. Another thing you could do with on the video screen you have behind you now in the studio is to have your cubed logo at the start of your show rotating on it. Yeah, I'm not actually sure how I would do that. I'll work on that. Oh, incidentally, those of you that watch the show may have noticed we have a new opening video, which involves my little nephew and myself, Jimmy, and myself riding on a bicycle towards his house. Have you seen that one right at the beginning of the very beginning of the show? New little opening video, which I thought was quite sweet. Hope you like that. Enjoyed your shower room adventures, overhearing people talking, or we like to listen to other people's conversations, don't we? I wonder If the tomatoes, if you should have just watered the ground instead of the whole plant, yeah, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right there. I'm convinced that's what caused the blight. He says, with the sweet corn, it may not have gotten pollinated so as to produce seed. When I lived in Eldora, I used to plant a few rows of sweet corn. Did not get a lot of ears, but it was fun growing the corn. And there is nothing like the taste of cooked ear of corn that you've just got off the plant. And that's from Doug. Well, I have news of the corn plants, Doug. And that is, corns are now great, because I didn't know where the corns grew from the top or whatever. The corns, I have 2 corns growing out of the side of the plant. Kind of, there's a leaf, you've got the stalk and a leaf, and there are 2 corns growing out from 2 of the leaves. So I'm excited there. However, we are now into the coming up towards the middle of September, and I'm wondering if we've got the time left to actually continue growing and ripen those corns. I have a feeling I might be a little bit too late. So we'll just have to see how that goes. Now, where's my phone gone? We must be almost time. I keep looking at my phone because I've forgotten the clock that I usually have with me. In fact, I'm looking at the phone. I am indeed out of time now. So the rain has held off. I'm going to go now and have some fish and chips on Brighton Pier, I think, because I'm feeling a bit peckish. And then I'm going to visit my friend Jason. You remember he's recently had a couple of days ago, he had a hip replacement operation. So I'm going to see him in hospital as well. And that's it for the show. I hope you've enjoyed the show by the sea. I've really enjoyed doing this down here, together with the wildlife and the blooming great big seagulls that are floating around that you may have seen appear. I'm going to try and take some pictures of seagulls and sort of overlay them on the video that you've just watched. If you saw those, if I was able to do that, I hope you saw those as well. That's it for the show today. For myself, Chris Reardon, do join in by email. It's chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Thanks for listening and watching. See you later. Bye-bye.